Give us a second. Get 5x5 here and we'll get started, y'all. I'm already jacked up on my second cup here. Thank you to everybody that has shot a thumbs up. Are we good to go here? We 5x5, folks? Yeah, we are good to go. All right, how's everybody doing this morning? Squeaky Gamer, congrats on being the first one in here. There's several that are trying to get first. It's apparently really hard to do. Thank y'all for the 5x5 hats, Cogito, etc. Loretta, welcome to the coffee club. I saw that earlier and wrote it down real quick. Thank you to all the people that were at the surprise live stream last night. We did a live stream for the folks on Patreon and the folks here on the coffee club. The replay is still available if you're interested. It should be under the community section if you're in the coffee club. Let's see who's in the house and we will get started. Thank you, mods, for being here as well. Kelly, Josie, good morning, ma'am. Ashley K, Don Halbert, how you doing? The Prepping Preacher, good morning, brother. Eric King, Crystal Roby, Debbie Sims, good morning. Here we go. Chat's flying now. I usually can get the first two or three. Good morning, Otto AR-15. Awesome name. KC, good morning. So quickly, I need to shout out Heather here. Thank you very much, ma'am. I did get your email. Heather sent an email and said, guess what, John, son? Tonight is officially the Beaver Moon. Yeah, we're having a Beaver Moon tonight, whatever that means. So I checked it out real quick and I said, oh, okay. Beaver Moon, here we go. I got to mention that. So we're going to be talking about prescription drugs this morning. And before I get into this, let me just say I'm not picking on people that get prescription drugs, okay, narcotics and things. I have prescription drugs myself, so I'm not picking on those people. We are going to be talking about the chaos that may be coming, but I'm talking about people that obtain these drugs illegally. They use them for recreational use and stuff like that. Little Miss Prepper, good morning, ma'am. So according to the FDA, this is linked down below, folks, the intel this morning. We have over 100 drugs right now, prescription drugs, that they are recognizing as a shortage. I think the number last night was 108. But I want to give you the top three, okay? Homestead Homeboy, good morning, son. On the way to a funeral. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hate funerals. I really do. I've been to a few. I try to avoid them, you know, unless it's somebody really close. I just don't like the atmosphere. I'm sorry to hear that, bud. The top three, I should say, shortages recognized right now by the FDA. Adderall, Oxycodone, and insulin. You folks pointed out insulin, I think it was yesterday or the day before. That's a huge deal because a lot of people depend on those three. Folks that need insulin, I mean, some of them can't live without the insulin. And now they are saying we have major shortages on insulin. Okay, this is not the clown show of fish sticks and hey, we're low on meat. This is life or death for some people. So insulin is a problem right now, and it's probably, I'm not trying to be gloom and doom this morning, it's probably going to get worse because we have PDB, Mr. Diversity Hire, in there in charge of our supply line, and he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, point blank. Oxycodone, this one's also huge because there's a problem in this country, not only with, we have a mental health crisis in this country, I would argue, but also not the people that get the prescription legally, but all of the people that use it on the side that shouldn't be using it. These people are going to become desperate. They will already, at this point, some of you know, home invasion is nothing for these people. They become desperate. They focus only on the fix, and they will break into your home. They will steal. They will rob. They will kill. So this is one of the top three shortages. That's a huge issue. I was telling them last night in the private chat, we were talking about China. If they wanted to collapse us, most of our medicine comes from China. They could just cut us off. They're the drug dealer for the United States. We are heavily medicated. But right now, the shortages, again, I'm going to blame on, part of it's the pandemic and part of it is PDB, as I like to call him. This is a huge issue. This is something that is not, we're always talking about rural America versus, urban America. This is an America issue. It is not something that you are going to be safe from just because you live in a smaller community. This stuff affects everybody. So please have a way to protect your home. Maybe work on home security if you haven't done so already. Perhaps get a boomstick if you don't have one. Get familiar with it, because if we run completely out of some of these narcotics, these painkillers and things, we're going to see a huge uptick in crime, home invasions, robberies, etc. Okay, and that's just going to pile on top of everything else we got going on. What is available is rising in cost. Many of you have told me, again, I researched this, the FDA website, there's a rise in cost, and even they admit sometimes something will be available. For example, if you're prescribed 10 milligrams, what they're having to do now is they're having to give you 5 and 5, and you just take 2. Like it's piecework, or they're just patchworking it together at this point, which means they're going to run out of those those medicines as well. 66% of adults in the U.S. rely on some sort of a prescription drug. Okay, so most people will be affected by this. The only prescription medicine that I'm taking at this point is for heartburn. But I was at one point in time on anxiety medication. I came off of that. I'm like, I started praying. I started changing the way I ate. I tried not to stress. There's certain things you can do to alleviate certain situations. But again, like the insulin, folks need it. It's life or death, okay? Somebody said I take weed. Big nasty. Unfortunately, I don't smoke weed, brother. 2019 was the most recent statistic I could find on this through the FDA. I'm guessing because of the pandemic, they've just been busy with other numbers. But in 2019, there were 153 million opioid prescriptions here in the United States. Just in the United States, 153 million people got opioids prescribed to them. So that's a high number, folks. Again, we are heavily medicated, and if this stuff runs out, that is a lot of people depending on medication that's just not there anymore. FDA lies, Marlboro Man. Well, that's possible. Again, I went straight to the source. I'm not saying that it's full-blown accurate. I don't know how accurate the numbers are. I'm just reporting what they're pitching out there. There's no way for us to really know, I guess. But it would be a true Mad Max. I mean, instantly. As much as we talk about food and water and all this stuff on this channel, which is all very important, you need to be prepping that. But that's a slow process. The food is gradually starting to run out. The shortages are gradually starting to show up. With the medication, if this stuff runs out, the opioids and stuff, boom, it's instant Mad Max. These people are not going to wait. They're not going to wait around for weeks on their next fix. They're not going to wait on bureaucrats to get their stuff together. They're going to start kicking doors in. So, some positive news here. There are certain foods and certain supplements that you can take that will mirror some of the effects of medication. Now, very important, let me just say this. If you're on a bunch of medication, you don't want to start drastically changing your diet or start taking a bunch of different supplements without talking to a doctor and researching it, okay? Because it could have adverse effects. However, there are probably hundreds of different foods that have medicinal purposes. I'm going to name off a few this morning. Feel free to put whatever you want to in the chat, as long as you know it works. Of course, you folks have a lot of knowledge. Buckwheat, honey. I love honey. I love prepping honey. It doesn't go bad. If you get the good stuff, it's really good for you. Pickled foods can help with some things as well. Peppermint. Peppermint's good for an upset stomach and maybe other things I don't know about. And turmeric. So those are the ones I'm going to list. Again, garlic, thank you. I've heard garlic. Feel free to put whatever you want to in the chat for the folks that are catching it after the live stream. Cider, apple cider, absolutely, Bobby. It's got to be, what is that stuff? Mother or something that's in it, like the cloudy apple cider, I think. Celery, pain and chronic pain. Ginger. Cinnamon we're going to be talking about shortly. That's a very good one, Chris. Sauerkraut. FJB. Somebody just throwing it down there. They're still mad. Yeah, this is his America. Fish, mox, and moxicillin should still be available online, but you do that at your own risk. I've heard that time and again. I've heard that it works time and again, but please don't take it and pin it on John told me over at Prepper Nation, okay? You do that at your own risk, but I have heard that it works. Turmeric. Vincent, I see that. I can't say it. They'll flag the video. Coconut oil. Wild lettuce. Okay, Casey, I didn't know that. Broccoli. Broccoli's just good for you anyway. Jack Daniels, Aces High. You know, I mean, that's funny and everything, but it will help in certain situations as well. Let me see here. There was one, I think it's called Rock and Rye. It's a whiskey, right? I don't know. I don't drink. But Rock and Rye, you can put something else in it. I forget. It's some sort of a drink that will mellow you out. It's actually supposed to be good for you. Vodka, tamara, avocados. I don't like the taste of avocados. To me, the texture is like gritty dirt. Cranberry juice. Bunch of people are saying, shall we say cannabis. Gail, elderberry, make syrup with honey. Awesome. They have elderberry all over the place here, the juice and stuff. Pineapple juice for a cough. Okay, so I just wanted to cover that this morning because people have been mentioning medicine and stuff like that. You want to be sure that you're prepping over-the-counter stuff. It is starting to disappear as well. Everything from the basic stuff like Tylenol. We've noticed alcohol peroxide is getting very low in this area. Like Sudafed and stuff like that. It's starting to get low here. CBD, is it any good? Flint McRock. I tried it a couple of times. My wife got me to. It tastes nasty. You put it under your tongue or something, like one drop. I seem to sleep better. But again, you know, talk to a doctor or something if you're on a bunch of medicine, because I'm not sure how that would affect any other kind of medicine. So let me tell you what I've learned here on YouTube. Well, I've learned many things. I learned there was a beaver moon that I didn't know existed until until this morning when I checked email. I've also learned when you make a mistake, you own up to it, okay? Here on YouTube, it's very important. So I got an email yesterday from a man, and he watches the show. He said, look, I like the show, but I'm tired of all the Black Rifle coffee talk. They're not as leftist as you think they are. Please watch this. He sent a link to a video, and I've linked that down below as well. He said, please just go and watch the video. Hear their side of the story, and to, you know, in case you don't have time for the entire video, because it was kind of long. The founders of Black Rifle, they sit down on a podcast with this lady, and they're saying, look, the New York Times contacted us, and they said, we're going to run an opinion piece. Either way. Or you can interview with us. And they thought it would be better to interview with the New York Times. They said, we know it's a garbage magazine. We know it's going to be a hit piece. But we're going in and we're going to try to represent Black Rifle anyway. So they went in. They didn't know what they were going to be talking about. They got nothing up front. And they said everything that they got asked was pointed in a way that it was going to sound bad no matter what. I mean, it was a true hit piece. And so the two founders of Black Rifle, they actually make a compelling argument. They said, we're a highly conservative company, pro-Second Amendment, pro-veteran. We're veteran-owned, actually. And they're saying, you know, they came after us because we're a conservative company and we're successful. We're no different than like a Chick-fil-A, for example. They're coming after us. They don't want a conservative company to thrive, basically. And they made a really good argument. So I went ahead and linked it down below. And in the past, I've called them, the conservative Starbucks. And they even mentioned that in the video. They said, we're not Starbucks. We're totally different. They're trying to make the comparison because they don't want us to be around as a company. So, well, that may be true. American Family Now, that may be true. He says, Black Rifle is only sorry because they're losing cash. I'm not telling you how to feel about them, but I think it is fair for me to come on here and say, if you haven't heard their side of the story, at least go listen to their side of the story, okay? They said, about half of their workforce are veterans, and they're being affected now because of a New York Times hit piece. And they said, and I'm paraphrasing here, they said, any other time conservatives would see an article from the New York Times and laugh at it. They know it's full of lies. But because they attached Black Rifle Coffee Company and they took some of our quotes and they put them together, all of a sudden, conservatives have turned on them or whatever. So I just wanted, to be fair, I wanted to mention that this morning, okay? I still am a fan of Invader Coffee. I got to be honest. I like the taste better, and it's about the same price for me. But I want to be fair and mention that, okay? It is linked down below. So, somebody last night on the private chat mentioned the General Michael Flynn interview with Alex Jones. And I hadn't seen it. They were like, man, you've got to look into this, okay? So I watched the entire interview. Number one, let me just say, General Michael Flynn, I did not realize that the man was that intelligent. Like, he is super intelligent. This is over on, hopefully it doesn't get me flagged, I don't really care. It's over on InfoWars if you want to see the interview. It's not on YouTube. They blacklisted him, of course. But he goes on to explain that there's a great reset strategy being played out right before our eyes right now. And he said, they're approaching this. The reason he woke up to it is they're approaching it like a military operation. He said they're very strategic about how they're carrying this thing out, but it's being played out right before our very eyes. And when I spoke, he's saying when he spoke up against it, that's when all of his legal troubles started out of the blue. It's heavily, he said everything we're seeing right now is heavily coordinated between pharma, between the government. He goes on to say that there are some people in Congress. He specifically mentioned Ted Cruz and Rand Paul. He said that they're good guys and they want the best for America. He said, but they think this is politics as normal. He said the good guys and gals that are still out there, they think, well, in 4 years, it's going to change again. And he's saying, no, this is a full-on attack on our country. They are trying to upend the country. Globalists, he goes on to say. He said, take a few minutes and look at the Bill of Rights online. He said, really look at the Bill of Rights, and you'll understand that every single thing listed on there right now is under total attack by globalists. And he said, this is the plan. He said he's been called a conspiracy theorist. He said, but it's not a conspiracy. He said that the proof is out there, or it is a conspiracy. It's not a theory. The proof is out there. He's saying, go dig around and get to the truth. He said, every American has an obligation to do that. And at the end, he said, it's all about control. This whole, the 2 years, the lockdowns, all of this stuff, the wearing the thing on your face, the face diaper, he said it's all about control. He knew this early on. He tried to fight against it. They blacklisted him, basically. He said that when he was advising President Trump, he let President Trump know all about this. And President Trump tried to do what he could. He said he did an incredible job to be up against what he was up against. He said, but this is a globalist thing. And so it was a really good interview. He said at the end of the day, and this is really good advice, he said, 1,000 you say, hold on. Sorry about that. For you newbies, I always throw on a tie so I look fancy here. at 1,000 people in chat. Okay, so he goes on to say, he said that the way our country was set up, the Constitution and everything, it's a beautiful thing. He says because the federal government's totally corrupt. And again, this is coming from General Michael Flynn. He says totally corrupt. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. They're not going to let you do anything about it at a federal level. He said, but the beautiful thing is you control your local elections. And he said the way things are set up is if you get your butt out and you vote in local elections, that actually changes your situation. That can stop tyranny. You can do it at a local level. Being your sheriff, being your town or city council, being your school board, things like this. He said, if you really care about that, you will drag people with you, conservatives, to the polls local election time. He said, because he goes on to say there's tons of fraud at a national level, but at a local level, they really can't hide it unless you're in a huge community. He says they can't hide it at a local level, and that's what they're actually afraid of. Your local elections. That is actually what can sack globalism and put an end to it. And again, that's available over on InfoWars. Steph L., welcome to the coffee club. Thank you very much, ma'am. 1,000 in chat and only 342 thumbs up. Come on, man. Y'all a bunch of Pelosi fans or something. I go into other chats, and they'll have 800 people in chat, and they got 1,600 likes. They're over there using witchcraft or something. I'm like, what in the world, man? I appreciate y'all being here. It doesn't matter. So 3 prepping items this morning. Salt and pepper. Not the wrappers, y'all. Salt and pepper as in the spices. Ain't nobody trying to listen to Push It, right? That's a really good prep, salt and pepper. Cinnamon. Somebody just mentioned cinnamon. It is an awesome prep for many different reasons, including medicinal uses. Good morning, Sophia. And what would you do with prep number 3? I'm going with a belt here, shoelaces. You can do many, many things with shoelaces as a prep. What would you do with that? Just stocked up on 10 pounds of salt. That is awesome. Salt is still relatively cheap to prep and lasts a very, very long time. Slingshot. That's a good one, Leo. I can honestly say I did not even consider weaponizing it. Make a shelter. Okay, I almost went with that, Chris, with tarps and things. Snare trap. Awesome, Karen. Tie up marauders. Let me see here. Bow drill. Very good, Timothy. Tie up some wood bundles. Thank you, Mrs. Cruz, and good morning. Cogito, make underwear hammock style. You said underwear and Google flagged you. What in the world is going on, Cogito? I don't know. But hold your britches up. There we go, Mames. Yeah, make a belt. Like on, what is that show? Beverly Hillbillies, right? One of them had a belt. I think it was Ellie Mae that had the belt. It was made out of rope or something. Get flour and make hardtack. Absolutely rock. That is one of the cheapest things you can make as a prep. Tie up a wound dressing. Awesome. Genergy in motion. So yesterday y'all were telling me that, yeah, normal people name their boomsticks. So what I did, I sat down and I said, well, what can I possibly name my boomsticks here? I love Westerns. I almost went with like Hoss and Little Joe, but I said, nah. I ended up going Gunsmoke on y'all. So the 12 gauge, Matt Dillon. I'm going with Matt Dillon as the official name on that. My Beretta, which is not the Israeli version. I wish it was, the Beretta 92. It'd be worth a lot more. Festus. I can't do the look Festus used to do on there. And then my favorite 22 long rifle, we have a few long rifles, but my favorite one, I'm calling it Miss Kitty, son. So there we go. Too many to name, yeah, Courtney. Oh, man. Names are cheesy and bad luck. Golden Saucer, they're bad luck, really? Maybe I should have did it then. Hop Sing, wow. My SKS is named Hop Sing. Wow. Betsy is my everyday carry. I've heard of doing that with cars before, but until yesterday I didn't know it was a thing with the boomstick. Rocky, are you in a closet or a shed? Both, basically. This is a room that we added onto to the house. It's actually my writing office, but it's a makeshift, whatever you want to call it, studio, whatever. I don't know. It's a very narrow room because, again, we added on and we were on a budget. So the poll this morning, and it was a tough poll indeed. Who has the worst hair? So many places we could have went here. Lori Lightfoot, 47% of the live crowd chose Lori Lightfoot. Old Beetlejuice from Chicago has the worst hair of the bunch. 26% say Whoopi Goldberg. And somebody was like, don't ever put Whoopi and don't ever compare her to anybody. Old Whoopi. I would like to sit down for 5 minutes and have a chat with Whoopi Goldberg. Boris Johnson brings in 21% of the live crowd vote and 6% Donald Trump. I thought he would be higher than that. Great president, horrible hair, if we're being honest here. Lightfoot has the best bad hair. Okay, she rocks it the best, Jess, I guess. But very disappointed with Whoopi, Randy. I mean, are you a fan of Whoopi's hair, or you're disappointed because she was in the poll? Because I really think she has bad hair. But I mean, look, I have no hair. So who am I to hair shame anybody? Lori Lightfoot has the best, worst everything, Sue. Okay. So the scenario this morning, it's time to bug out. You got to bug out. There's a violent mob coming. There's, 50, we'll say 50 soy boy zombies and soy lady zombies. And maybe I shouldn't even use pronouns. Soy zombies are coming, son. They're on the way. Your bags are packed. You're by yourself. You're getting ready to bug out. And they're going to be there in about 5 minutes. And your car won't start. Your bug out vehicle, maybe it's a Chevy. It just said, no, son, we're done here. We're done. What do you do at that point? You got 5 minutes. What do you do? Do you bug out on foot? 50, I mean, that's a high number. I'm probably bugging out on foot at that point. I'm going to go through the car, scavenge for anything that I may be able to carry that I might need, and I'm gone. Soy ink scars. I didn't recognize ink scars. I didn't see the middle finger being thrown up there on Joe Biden. Only 50, John Mack. He's like, 50, that's nothing. I'm tying a red bandana around my head like Rambo, and I'm getting ready for it. Black Cat whirligig. Set up my lawn chair and lock and load. He's just got the ammo can beside him. He's like, cigar in his mouth. He's like, where they at? If you haven't hit the thumbs up, you're doomed to be a soy zombie. Thank you, Nana. I've hit my own thumbs up on that one. Oh, man. I mean, yeah, if you're by yourself, 50's a tall order, Maybe. Depends on what kind of loadout you got. Again, I'm using, what am I using? I'm using Matt Dillon and Festus here. So at some point, I got to reload, right? Welcome to the party. Yeah, if you're brand new here to the live chat, welcome. If you're brand new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing. Totally up to you. Somebody yesterday mentioned India. There is a climate lockdown coming in part of India. I researched it last night, and absolutely they're going to be locking down for the weekend because of smog and because of a bad climate. What does this mean? Well, it's bad news for the people in India, obviously. But I think that we can expect this moving forward throughout the rest of the world, okay? If it flies in India, eventually they're going to at least try it here. They're going to try and lock people down over the climate, maybe your larger cities and things of this nature. Call Greta. Laura said, call Greta. You call her in the middle of the night, she answers the phone, she's like, how dare you? How dare you wake the Greta up? But yeah, if they're trying it, they're going to try it here. You know, they're pushing this climate thing hardcore. We all know that, right? I mean, really, is this the post-winter plan maybe? You know what I mean? India's trying it now. We're going to have a rough winter. I think everything for our winter's lined up, ready to go. They're going to throw the foobar at us this winter. But then when we come out of winter and we kind of hit spring and that boogeyman's played itself out, is climate lockdowns here in the United States, is that the next boogeyman that they're going to throw at us here in the old U.S. or the U.K. maybe? Second Amendment, let's reach 1,000 thumbs out and up. Well, thank you. No driving, no. Oklahoma Marquee. They're not doing any kind of driving whatsoever. From my understanding, they're going to be locked in their homes. Now, if we were to experience lockdowns here in the U.S. because of the climate, I think that they would pull the old, what do they call them, essential workers. Remember when essential workers mattered and they weren't firing them over the whiskey shot? If you were essential, you will still be allowed to move around, but the rest of us are just going to get shafted. U.S. Soldier for Life, thumbs up, son. I appreciate that, and thank you very much. Climate change is the next corona. Alta Prep. I wonder about that myself. I think it'll be after winter before they try it here. They got too many other boogeymen running around. Us peons, we can only focus on a couple of things at one time. That's their reasoning anyway. So they're not going to throw too many of them on us at one time. This is why Antifa kind of circles around every so often. And then they become a non-factor, and then they come out from behind the curtain again. Just opinion. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about alternative heating in winter preps and things. I had that question come up last night as well. So let's get into what most of y'all want to talk about, and that's the trial. Do you think there's going to be a mistrial? Do you think it will happen today? One way or the other, are we going to have an answer today on the trial? Will it end in mistrial? Because it's kind of looking that way. Saddle up and ride, Outlaw Farms. That'd make a good bumper sticker. It may already be one, I don't know. Not guilty, Cogito says. Yes, today, Brian says. That's the big thing. Is it coming today? Because I keep tuning in and they keep saying, well, we need to see more video. We need the rules. It kind of feels like the jury's trying to drag it out. Maybe they're afraid one way or the other to put him behind bars or not because of all the people waiting outside. A little mob justice going on. And then they were schooling me on this lawyer and stuff last night. They said if it's a mistrial, but it is, help me out here, y'all, not something. There's two different kind of mistrials. One, there would be another trial, and the other one, there would not be. So then it would fall back down on the judge, basically. Prejudice. Thank you very much, North American Prepping. Without prejudice, from what I understand, there would be another trial. If it's a mistrial with prejudice, at that point, he's off the hook completely. Yeah, see, all of y'all knew that. Everybody's like, without prejudice, with prejudice. Yeah, acquittal. Okay, big T. I mean, it just feels like I would hate to see another trial simply because I don't think he should be on trial now. This is just my personal opinion. I think there should have been an investigation. The investigator should have said, well, he was well within his rights. He didn't actually break any laws. No trial. But they took it to trial anyway. They wanted to make an example out of the kid. The prosecutors over here pointing weapons at the jury in a threatening manner. And then from what I understand, there was drone footage, video of drone footage, that the prosecutors had the entire video. The defense was only allowed to see part of it, something like that. And now they're calling for, political, exactly, half-acre homesteader. And now they're calling, the defense wants a mistrial. And so it's turned into a big mess. The defenders are saying, look, how can we defend against evidence we didn't even know existed? You guys gave us a little snippet of a video you had, and the prosecutors are saying, well, we had to transfer it from an iPhone to an Android or something like that, and it was a technical thing, we couldn't help it, but they never mentioned it or anything. They never at any point said, hey, come in here and look at the full video. Nothing. They didn't offer to do anything. So kicking like a chicken, that's a good point. Cops do this to unarmed citizens running away all the time. They were coming for Kyle. At least the video that I've seen, but again, I saw the one I think the defensive attorneys have seen. If there's a longer one, I haven't seen it. Compromised video, exactly. Let's go, Brandon, exactly. Misty, I can get on board with that. But now they're saying, I heard in mainstream media the other morning, now they're saying if you say let's go Brandon, it's the equivalent of burning the American flag. And a lot of liberals are upset by this phrase, apparently. I can't personally make that parallel. I don't think it's like burning the American flag at all. But yeah, they're very upset. Maybe we shouldn't say that anymore. What am I talking about? Say it all you want. There's Ink Scars chiming in. I got a Let's Go Brandon t-shirt from my husband. There you go. Suck it up, Buttercups, Independent Marine says. Oh, yeah. They hate it, you know. I think, oh, man, they put Biden in there because they wanted to thumb Trump in the eye and say, we finally got you. And now they're realizing, oh, Biden's horrible. Kamala Harris even worse. And they can't even, they're trying to cover for Joe Biden being so terrible. But how can you? I mean, the man's literally defecating on himself. How can you do it? Let's go, Brandon, Lou says. So there you go. Pet food. I wrote down pet food with exclamation marks. It is starting to show up short everywhere. At least from people I've talked to around the country here. They're saying pet food, canned food, and now bagged food starting to show up short as well. President Poopy Pants. We were asking about celebrity pet names the other day, and the best one I saw was Poops and Giggles, but the person didn't say poops. They said the S word. But I thought, yeah, that's pretty much it. Aloha, Nick. How are you doing? Pure Blood Beaverines riding dirty. I'm drinking Death Wish this morning. I put a little creamer in just so it wouldn't peel the paint off the wall or tear my stomach up too bad. It's basically black, though. You can't even see the cream. Are there any cheap gas masks that work well? Tasha, that BattleBox company right now, that's the only company I work with. I don't have one. They haven't sent me one or anything. They have one for $100, and it's pretty decent. I don't know if they're sold out or what. I haven't checked in a while. But they reviewed one a while back, and you can check them out. BattleBox is on the internet, obviously. Yeah, they're $100. You can get military surplus. It's probably going to cost you more. It's probably going to be better quality if you want to know the truth. Speaking of BattleBox, I will be reviewing their stuff. They're sending me a box supposedly next week or two. So I'll be doing some gear review. I have no idea what they're sending, folks. And the gear review videos are not for everybody, so I'll post them as a separate video in the evening or something. I get it. Some people love the gear, some don't. Jason, when does having Biden as president become elder abuse? We've been there for a while. It should be. but they can control him. They can yo-yo the man around. They just got to keep him in the same area. You know what I mean? They got to keep him in the right area. They are Half Acre Homestead, and I'm not saying this because I work with them. They're not in chat or anything, but they're really, really cool. They're patriots, huge patriots in real life. Everybody I talk to over there is pro-American, and they will even tell you F Joe Biden. They can't stand him. It is a really good company. Not everything that they send me is something I would buy in real life, and I'll tell you that in the videos. There are a few things like the right here actually. They sent a Cali Loha chair. It's a good chair. It's a legit chair. And when I emailed them after I did the video, I said I hate the colors. You know, I'm not in Hawaii. Nothing against Hawaii. If I'm there, that's the perfect colors. I said, but most people that are going to be interested in that chair, tactical grade chair, they're going to want OD green or they're going to want camouflage or something. So y'all need to do something about that, son. But, you know, I mean, they're good company. Let me see here. Shipping is freaking ridiculous right now. It's taking forever. I got this wall back here is going to have, it should have soundproof panels on it tomorrow. I've been waiting for over a month, and they finally came very early this morning. They were coming from California, so my fault. Buyer beware, I guess. But yeah, if you're ordering anything, understand at this point the shipping, I don't know. They had a tracking number and everything, and they were supposed to be here in like 5 days. And then it just said, hey, your stuff's going to be late. And that was it. That's all I've had for the last month. So, yeah, try and buy local if you can. Try and find it locally because it's hit or miss now if you're ordering online. Somebody saying Newscum. Has anybody seen Newsom lately? Y'all were talking about that the other morning. Randy, nobody offers customer service anymore. Well, the company, when I ordered it, they were good. They sent it out. They shipped it out the same day. And then it went into the hands of the postal, U.S. Postal Service. I don't know what happened. Brian, absolutely pray for Kyle, one way or the other. Even if you think he's guilty, pray for Kyle, pray for his mom, because they're also affected. That entire family's affected. But if you think he's innocent, pray that he gets off the charges and they don't try just to make an example out of the kid to save on violence outside. Should never cave into the mob like that, Tractor parts are taking months to get here now. CNC Farms. Thank you. I knew that they were having trouble with car parts, but I didn't think specifically about tractor parts. And a lot of people need that. I've heard that, Salt and Prepper. I love that name. I've heard that Newsom has had a reaction, but I can't, there's no way to confirm it. He's hiding in a bunker somewhere. My ringtone is the Trump train, Outlaw Farms. Well, don't take that into Starbucks. They'll jump you. Many farm and auto parts are getting tough to order and get, I guess. Worminati says, innocent on the shootings, Kyle is guilty of possession no matter how you slice it or throw the laws out. I just saw that Big T probably 10 minutes before I started live streaming. Kyle is being offered a job from a congressional rep in Florida. I read this morning. Yeah, they had said they would hire him. Chicken Prepper, what books have you written? The most recent is Wicked. It is a zombie apocalypse novel. There's a lot of prepping in there, a lot of humor as well, but mostly science fiction. Some shorter stories. The backup channel is actually a writing channel, and I talk about it over there. I try not to mix the two up here. But, yeah. The website link and stuff's down below if you're interested in that. Corey, that charge was dropped. He was carrying legally. Okay, so I knew that they had dropped it. I think Worminati's saying no matter what the judge says, he shouldn't have been carrying it, I think is what they're trying to say. Prepper Trucking says wrong. Legal possession, 100%. What does the red circle mean? Prepper Trucking, a few other people have those and they don't know where they came from. They said they accused us one time of flagging them and putting a red circle beside their name. And I emailed them. I said, I don't even know what it is. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for being here this morning, sir. Ink scars, throwing it up again. So yeah, again, the backup channel is linked down below if anybody's interested. And it's very good to bring that up right now because two people in the community, I think Prepper Now and also Prepper Nurse 1, they are in YouTube prison right now for a week. So they are dropping the hammer on a lot of prepping channels. I don't know why they got flagged. I haven't talked to either one of them personally, but I did see where Prepper Now is posting his stuff over on Rumble for the week, and I'm not sure about Edit Prepper Nurse 1. I just seen from several places, thank you, Kelly, that they have been taken down for an entire week. And as somebody that's been there, it does suck as a creator. A lot of times YouTube will nail you, and they won't even give you a reason. And you have one chance to appeal it, but you can't explain anything. You just click appeal. And then they go through with human eyes and look. Okay, Indiana Prepper is also in prison. Wow. Let me see here. As well for a week. That sucks, brother. I've been there. It's for no rhyme or reason. Like they'll key in, the algorithms will pick up a certain phrase and they'll nail you and they'll give you a week. And I think Prepper Now, he was saying that all he did was mention an article that was on Fox News or something to that degree. And they nailed him and he's trying to appeal it. They don't care, man. They don't care about prepping channels here on YouTube. They'll throw you to the curb and that's it. Just Vicky will have to use code words, code talk to avoid the algorithms. We already do. But sometimes, you trip up as a creator. Like if you're streaming for 30 minutes or an hour, it's hard to dance the entire time. Sometimes you're going to slip up a little bit. Let's see here. Jola, check out the backup channel. Thank you for that. Matt. Trump's social media starting in a few months. Pretty sure he's going to have streaming too. That would be awesome. Get prepared. Going to be an awesome place to be. They will find a way. They're going to try and shut it down, or they're going to try and ghost it. You'll Google to try and find it, and you won't be able to find it. They're going to act like the place doesn't exist. We know that's coming. Okay, Big Red. It's just an emoji option. Okay, thank you. Prepper Trucking, I just use it as a marker. Thank you. So now I can tell people, I can explain to them, no, you've not been targeted. Somebody said, has YouTube put me on a list because I've got the red marker or whatever? I said, you're probably already on several lists. If you're in a prepping community, they know you're out there. They don't want you to be there at that point. Ice Age Farmer video. Oh, man. I love watching Christian, but, man, every time I do, I'm out buying food. J.R. Cannon says he just put up a video. Canada's West Coast ports are closed. Well, yeah, that's not good at all. Worminati, the judge threw out the charge because the system and laws are a joke. In the Kyle case, I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of our legal system. I think it does not represent, like, there's no innocent until proven guilty. There's innocent and, hey, you can plea bargain out and only get 5 years because we don't have time to properly represent you, that kind of stuff. So I do think a lot of innocent people go to jail. In this particular case, I think, the standing laws, at least, he legally had a right to have the AR with him, is what the judge is saying. and he legally had a right to be in the next state over. It was like 10 or 20 minutes away. He had family there, but even if he didn't, you know, as an American citizen, he has the right to be somewhere else in America, you know. Guilty till proven innocent. Exactly, Albert. A lot of people, they'll have charges thrown on them. Like, for example, we're talking about the Kyle trial here. In my just opinion, folks, self-defense. But they have already had to pay out $400,000 in legal fees. So, you know, they've been crowdsourcing the money or crowdfunding online, which is great. I'm glad people have donated. But think about somebody in this situation that doesn't have $400,000, and they're going to get stuck with a public defender. Think about this case if you had a public defender who had 15 minutes to look at the case before you went to court. You know, that person's not getting out of it. Bill B, no matter the verdict, Kenosha is screwed. There are tons of protesters on both sides already out there waiting on it. And they're getting upset because they have to wait so long. So this thing, it really is it's a powder keg, you know. Becca, we're all on a list. I promise you are. Well, we're all on lists. At some point, they're going to make their move, and they're going to start going down the list. And they're going to say, hey, send the paddy wagon out and get these people right here. Everybody that said Beaverines, lock them up. They're no good. Verdict by mob rule. Brenda, I'm hoping that's not what's going to happen. I'm hoping because the angry mobs are outside, that they're not going to cave into that or something. You know, I don't really know what's going through the jury's mind. It could be that part of the jury's like, he's absolutely innocent and I'm not caving. And the other part of the jury's like, he's absolutely guilty and I'm not caving. It could be that situation. It could be that they don't really understand the rules, like they have claimed, or they want to see more video footage, or it could be they're just afraid. As a juror, when you have, you know, the angry mob on both sides out there waiting, you know eventually your name's going to get floated out there as a juror. And now you have to worry about your own safety and stuff like this, and you don't know, you know, if that's factoring in or not. Hung jury. Albert, that may be the case. They may just be riding it out until it's a hung jury so they can throw it off onto somebody else. And if so, I feel bad for Kyle in that case, because he may have to go through this all over again, and he shouldn't have been there in the first place, my opinion. Axel Brode, I'm on OFC Nation's list. Brother, if you're subscribed to his channel, and I am, we're on so many lists at that point, man. We're going to have to be like a Snowden. We're going to be out here filing for, exile and stuff like this in other countries before it's over. Beaverines in jail, not good. Tilt and rear, no. Especially on, a day like today when there's a beaver moon coming up. Does anybody even know what a beaver moon is? Because I still have no idea. Otto AR-15, funny story. I ran a background check on myself. I'm not going to ask why. And it popped up that I'm on a watch list. We must form our own lists. Solar eclipse. Thank you, Bernard. Watch the lunar eclipse tonight. I'm going to go outside and see if I can see what all the fuss is about here. That's okay, Leah. Thanks for being here this morning. Never heard of a beaver moon, but it sounds naughty. Tennessee Jim. Yeah. Somebody went out of their way to inform me of that. I said, okay, I'll pass it along. Thank you, Heather. Mary, release him to defend against rioters. Jeremy Taylor, welcome to the Coffee Club. Thank you very much. Independent Marine, wife been in Facebook jail 4 times and me twice. I don't Facebook, so I've never been in Facebook jail. But I hear that it's tough over there. They don't have any holding cells or anything. They just throw you straight on in. How's the food in Facebook jail? because the food sucks in YouTube jail. Marcy, thank you for being here. Can't believe I made it to a live today. Me either. I was in there getting the coffee ready. I think I was like 30 seconds late clicking live or whatever. Send Kyle to the southern border. Happy prepper. People still Facebook. Matthew Kitchens. Yeah, my wife. God love her. I was streaming last night and, you know, hollering at her. She was in the next room over. And she was on Facebook then, talking to some friends from work and calling me cheap. She verified for the crowd that was there last night that I am in fact cheap. Propane is $2.10 a gallon. Good thing we're just topping off. Thank you for bringing up propane. Somebody let me know. I didn't know these attachments existed. They were saying, like, if you have the Blue Rhino propane, they make an attachment. They sell it on Amazon where you can fill the small propane bottles, the canisters up off of it. How did I miss you streaming, Nana? Because I announced it to no one. I was very naughty about it. For the folks on Patreon and the Coffee Club, I'm going to do it once a month, but I'm going to announce it next time. I just decided, hey, I was lurking on Alaska Prepper last night. He got done. Rudy got done. I started streaming. Matthew Kitchens, John, speaking of cheap, did you get my email? I don't think so. I don't remember it. If you can drop it in chat, maybe I did, but I don't remember seeing it. Salty Gummer, $3.40 a gallon for propane. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry, Otto. It's Meta now. It's not even Facebook anymore. It's Meta or Meta, however you say it. Edgar, yeah, we're still here. Kicking like a chicken, for sure. CNC Farms, I'm installing a wood stove in the house to avoid higher prices on propane. Heard it could go up 97% this winter, and you were correct, and let me tell you why I know. I had someone on Patreon yesterday, Mark, message and say that his heating bill this month increased 88% in 1 month. It went up 88%. He was pissed. And I said it's probably not going to drop down at least until spring. If then, we don't know what the supply line is going to look like in spring. So it is going up. A wood stove right now, I said no way. And yeah, he was complaining about food prices too. He said this is on top of all the food prices. And he said some words that I can't say. And then he mentioned Joe Biden. But yeah, he was not happy. But a wood stove would be a great investment right now. Until Greta knocks on your door and says no more wood. How dare you? You can't burn wood anymore. And she shows up with daddy gates and the blue helmets, and they take your wood stove away. But until then, yeah, a wood stove would be a good investment. I think anyway. Unless you're at Miami Beach, Florida, then it's not really going to do you a whole lot of good. Just Vicky says, check your gas bills, and if you have choice options, research and try to lock in the lowest available rate on the market. Now, they do have these, I call them schemes. I don't know how good they are, but I know our power company here locally, they have this thing where you can sign up and they charge like one flat rate every month, but it's pretty insanely high for the rate. And then they also do the solar. They'll come out and set up solar at your home, but the solar actually goes into their grid, so it's not independent. So I haven't bid on that. I average my power bill. It's good. That may be what I'm talking about with the one thing, Matthew. I'm not sure what it's called. It was pretty high here, though. Like, summertime here is not very high at all. But the average jumps it way up, like a couple of $100 or something. All right, folks, I'm going to run. Hopefully, the Kyle trial concludes today and we get some kind of closure one way or the other. I'm starting to wonder if we ever will. American Trucker's Wife, how you doing? But yeah, I'm going to hop off here. I'll watch the live chat replay, and then I'm going to turn on the trial and see what's going on, okay? Hopefully, again, there's some kind of closure so we can talk about it in the morning. Otherwise, we'll be talking about winter preps and things like that and alternative heating sources, okay? Until tomorrow morning, y'all take care, drink some coffee, and God bless.